This is Matthew McConaughey.
Natalie Portman.
James Patterson.
Michael Ian Black.
And you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan
Schawbel.
Jaren, welcome to Five Questions.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
How did you get started as an actor at age 5?
So originally, my mom was a teacher, and she was a teacher for a long time. And when I was in preschool, we would get out at different times. So I would have to do aftercare programs, and they have a lot of different groups come in to kind of incite interest for kids, whether it's like a zookeeper or a veterinarian or I don't know, like as a scientist or a doctor or a nurse or something like that. And there was one time that an improv group came to the aftercare, and apparently, which I was too young to remember this, but this is what my mom tells me, that the group came up to her afterwards and said that I really enjoyed everything. I was always raising my hand. I was always volunteering for every game. I wanted to be the center of every game. And they actually gave my mom a number for like a local film and TV agent. Because at the time I couldn't read, so I couldn't really do theater, and I don't know that I really would have understood theater at that time. And I started from there. I signed with that agent, and then I was on Barney when I was, I think, 7 or 8, and kind of kept going from there.
Yeah, my after-school programs growing up were not as interesting. The only thing I remember is playing like Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt in after school.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. I don't even know that I had Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I think a lot of it was just like games, and I wish I was like able to remember, but I think I loved it, whatever it was. I mean, I've always loved school, so no matter what it was, I think I was excited to like talk to people and see like what their jobs were and learn about their lives and all that kind of stuff. So,
and it seems like just acting in school has always been a balancing act for you. What were some of the challenges of filming Never Have I Ever as a full-time college student?
yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I think that I was inspired a lot by student athletes and then a lot of people that I just know in my life that have worked multiple jobs, whether it was in college, in high school, or outside of college, or maybe they didn't even go and they have two jobs or they have like a hustle. And I think that it's always been something that I've related to. I love being busy. I love having multiple things to do at one time. And I'm grateful for my support system. I think that that was a really big thing for me. That's what kind of kept me grounded and kept me sane because it was hard. I was a full-time student. I was taking 16 units, which I went to the University of Southern California, and that's a full course load. So I was taking 4 classes every semester. And on top of that, I was working 70 to 80 hours a week. A big thing was sacrifice. I was sacrificing sleep, some parties and some social gatherings that I kind of missed out on. But I think I was able to do a good job with balancing everything, just mainly because my friends were kind of uplifting me when things got difficult or when I was stressed out. And the other thing is I'm really great with time management. So I would get things done like 2 or 3 weeks in advance where like somebody wouldn't have even started on the essays and I would already have had it done for a week and a half. And that kind of allowed me to look forward where I'd be like, okay, I know I'm working every single day this week. I'm probably working a 70-hour week. Like maybe I'm not going to have time for a lot of homework. So I'm going to need to try to like really plan ahead, maybe get some notes from people and not fall behind. That's really the trick. You just got to stay ahead of the curve.
I'm exactly like you. That's why I'm like nodding. I'm like, oh wow. Like, yeah, there were people in college that crammed the night before a test or a paper was due. And I looked at that. I'm like, how aren't they stressed out of their mind? How do they not get like a C or a D on their
Exactly. It
exam? And
stresses
for
me out
me,
to no end.
I had to do everything in advance. And I do the
Yeah.
same thing now. It's so funny. Like even more recently, I have a speech in like after I get back from my honeymoon, in July. And I already did this. I already did the whole
There you
presentation
go.
for it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
That's it.
I
That's
know
it.
when I get closer to going to Italy, I'm not gonna want to cram and like try and like pull
No.
something off. Then I'm
No, you're
gonna
going to want to enjoy it. You
exactly,
want to get there and have a great time, not think about the speech, and you don't need to because you already did it.
exactly, yeah. And the support system, I think that, and I think people in general, especially creatives, want to do multiple things at once. They call it like the slash career. You're right, like actor, student, like and various
Oh,
other
yeah.
things that people want to do. I do think that's more common with creative pursuits as well, because you see so many people, and even actually now you see a lot of people I interview who are kind of actors, and now they have their own product or their own company, or like everyone's doing so many different things. And it's kind of maybe the nature of the industry, but I think it's also a reflection on just people and creative pursuits.
I think that you're totally right. I feel like also too, there's a lot of people like you just want to accomplish different things. You have a lot of different interests, and it's like, you know what? If I can try it, I might as well try, and I might as well like put some of my time in there. And if it yields dividends, then that's fantastic. But I think a lot of my generation, especially, like we want to do so much. We want to really leave a massive impact on the world, and we want to do everything. And in order to do that, we have to like sort of be able to wear a bunch of different hats. And I think that I was lucky enough to be able to put on a couple, and I'm always looking for more.
And without sharing any spoilers, what do people have to look forward to for this new season?
To be honest, it's really tough saying this, but I think it's our best season. I love all of our seasons. I really do. And I know that I'm also biased, but I do think that this fourth season is really just something even beyond what we've accomplished in the past, which I know is a really high bar. And for people that love the show, every single character that you love in this fourth season really goes through a massive identity change and growth. And you kind of see them get ready for adulthood. They're in senior year, and senior year is hectic. I think we can all look back at our own senior years and think, wow, like there was so much change coming. And it's really about the preparation for that, and about the growth, and about the ability to sort of adapt to the new changes that are coming. And you think a lot about who you want to be in this next chapter. And no matter which character you love and relate to, there is something in this fourth season that will make your jaw drop, that will make you laugh, that will maybe make you a little bit emotional. I know that I definitely had all of those emotions and many, many more. So I'm just really excited for everyone to see it. I've gotten so many amazing messages, and gotten to talk to a lot of fans and have those interactions where people have said how much the show has meant to them. And I think that this fourth season will sort of be the perfect conclusion to that. I think that most people, well, unless you're looking at the love triangle and you have Team Ben and Team Paxton, because there is a winner. So I think most people are going to be excited, and then there may be a different part of the fandom that's maybe not so excited if that's what they're the most invested in. But it's a really special show, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it, and I can't wait to see everyone's reactions.
Yeah, and that's such a great response. You have such good energy and excitement around this, especially you do hear some actors and actresses that are like, well, I guess I have to do another season of this, but you're the exact
Yeah,
opposite. You're like, bring it on. Like this
I,
is this is kind of more growth for you, your character and everything that you've done. So it's definitely very refreshing.
no, 100%. I mean, I say all the time, like this show profoundly changed my entire life. I had been acting for 13 years, and this was sort of, I would consider like my big break. I'd never been on
Yeah.
a series before. I'd never carried a character through episodes, let alone seasons. And then to be on a show that means so much to so many people, it's like a dream come true. So when they were like, oh, another season, I mean, I'm just like thanking every single bit of luck that I've ever had for being able to do another season. And I met some of my best friends on the show, and I worked with so many amazing people who are so kind and hardworking, and it was like a dream come true. I like never really wanted it to end, but I think that everything has an end. What comes up always
Yeah.
comes down, and we got to end it on our own terms, and we got to tie a beautiful little bow around this amazing series that we put so much love into. So I don't think they could have ended a better way. So
The only thing that
it is
like doesn't
bittersweet, but I feel good about it.
the only thing that doesn't have an end is like James Bond or Fast and the Furious at this point, right?
I know it's like what on number 11 for Fast and Furious or something
I think
crazy. I
this
mean,
is
good for them. That's
ninth. Yeah.
incredible.
And
But
James
they
Bond,
were like in space for one of
dozens.
them. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I mean, all the power to them. The family, right? That's what it is. I love it.
Absolutely. And why do you think you and the show resonate so much specifically with Gen Z?
I think it's the relatability in the writing. I give so much credit to Mindy and Lang, who are the co-creators of Never Have I Ever, and the rest of the writing team, because like I said, I think no matter kind of what your background is or what your intersectionality is, like there's something for everyone in this show, whether you're like a 65-year-old man like my grandfather, or I made him a little bit younger. I think he's like 75. Or you're a 25-year-old female, or anything in between. There's something that you can sort of look at in the show and find yourself in. And our show is also like it's chaotic and messy and beautiful and heartwarming, and it really has like a beautiful blend of genres in there. Like you're gonna be laughing, and the next moment your heart's gonna be so full, and then maybe you're gonna be like kind of someone's cutting onions, and you got some tears flowing over there. Like there's so much in our show that I think Gen Z relates to in terms of like striving for perfection and messing up and having to like learn how to embrace your failures and the scary things that come with high school and everything after and preparing for that. And I think that everyone goes through that period, whether it is in high school or it's maybe a little bit later or earlier. Like you sort of can watch our show and say, oh yeah, like I remember when I was worried about that, or I remember when I messed up, a situation similar and how I came out of it. And also just the way that it's written, it flies by so quickly. You can sit down with your loved ones, whoever they are, whether it's a partner or a spouse or your family, your parents, like really anybody. And you can sit and enjoy the show and you can talk about it and have real conversations about what your life is. And hopefully it inspires people to do that. And from the fans that I've gotten to talk to, that's definitely been the case for a lot of them. And it's really special. It's a really incredible show, and it was made with a lot of love and a lot of care. And I think that you can feel that when you watch it, or rather, I really hope so.
And what's your best piece of career advice?
So my grandfather always says he passed it down to my dad and passed it down to me. It's not only a model that I follow professionally, but also a model that I follow personally. And it's remember the feeling. It's basically something that I try to live by all the time, which reminds us to remember both like the mundane and the small moments, the things that you would consider maybe boring or not necessarily huge, but really make you smile. And then the massive moments, the monumental things, whether it's getting your dream job or getting into your dream school or falling in love or whatever that may be. It just encourages me to embrace how amazing life is. And when I'm on set, I remind myself that this is a dream that I've had since as long as I can remember. I mean, this is years, decades now in the making. And I never want to be on set and take that for granted. Not 1 second. I want to always stop and remember the feeling, take those mental photos, take it all in, because I'm working with some of the most incredible people in the industry. I've gotten the chance to be on a show or be on a set or be on a film or whatever it ends up being that kids dream of from around the world. There are millions of people who want to be actors and actresses. And there are very few of us that actually get the chance to do it and do it on this level and with this magnitude. And I think that it encourages me to not only be grateful, but also be kind and be positive and try to leave my impact in a positive light and make sure that anytime that people work with me, they really have a fantastic experience and I can give them everything that I have because I don't want to ever remember the feeling and feel like I should have left something else out there. I always want to make sure that I can give 110% and then 1% more. So remember the feeling would be my advice to anyone. I know that there's a lot of stressors, which is something our show talks about a lot. There's a lot going on in everybody's lives, especially now post pandemic, and everything is crazy and the world moves so quickly. It's nice to sometimes stop, remember the feeling, realize how incredible life really is, and take a second and practice that gratitude and that positivity because it does make a difference when you live your life like that. I think that you attract really great people, you better yourself, you better others around you, and that's the legacy that I want to leave. Whenever that ends up being, hopefully it's a very long time from now, but I want people to say, yeah, like we're gonna remember the feeling, just like he said, and hopefully that's what people can take away.
And that can't be understated too, is be easy to work with, right? Because
Yeah,
clearly there's a ton of people who are difficult to work with, obviously. And there's a lot of people who are capable. So how do you differentiate yourself? Well, if you're easy to work with, then that person who maybe cast you in this part, when they go on to their next thing, they're like, oh, I remember these good feelings and how great they were to work with. Let me do it again.
yeah,
And that's part of,
one hundred
I mean, that's
percent.
every industry, but definitely in kind of
Absolutely is.
Hollywood is, hey, if you're great to work with, people will remember you. And then as people are doing other projects, you're top of mind, and then you can kind of flourish that way.
100%. But like you said, it's other industries too. It really works for everything. I think that the world needs more kindness. There's a musician that I follow. His name is Dave Fenley. He's a country artist. And his motto is spread love like peanut butter. And I love peanut butter. I put that stuff on everything. So I think about that a lot too. It's just like, yes, things are stressful, but you never know what people are going through, and your little bit of kindness can go a really, really, really long way. So if you can put a little bit of yourself out into the world that is kind, then always try to lead with that because I do think that like what goes around comes around. And if you live with kindness and you really work hard and you are giving and you're somebody who listens to other people and tries to better them as well as yourself, you're probably going to have a pretty great life, I would hope.
Well, that's great advice. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.